The number of Floridians serving as caregivers for people with Alzheimer's and other dementias is on the rise. You're listening to The Wrap from 90.7 WMFE News. I'm Brendan Byrne. A new report by the Alzheimer's Association finds an estimated 840,000 dementia caregivers in the state of Florida. That's up 13,000 in just 1 year. The report finds the burden of caregiving falls more heavily on Black and Hispanic families. A much higher percentage of those dementia patients are living with their adult children. And the work of these caregivers has an estimated value of $24 billion a year.
We need these family caregivers. However, we also need them to be healthy so that this can continue.
WMFE's Joe Burns reports on the toll of caretakers and a new program designed to meet their needs. That's ahead on The Wrap. The big stories this week from 90.7 WMFE News. But first, these headlines. A judge has imposed a temporary protective injunction on Orlando City Commissioner Regina Hill to prevent exploitation of a vulnerable adult. An FDLE special agent found evidence that Hill exploited a 96-year-old constituent by using the woman's money and living in her second home, according to an affidavit. The agent says Hill met the constituent 3 years ago and soon afterwards got a power of attorney that appears to be fraudulent. The investigation found the woman's money was used to renovate the home where Hill was living, rent vehicles, buy clothes, and fund a Miami hotel stay. It also went to pay for a facelift and dental surgery for Hill, along with vitamin infusions and car insurance. The allegations were brought to light by an aide who later lost her job with the city. When reached by telephone, Hill declined to comment. Rescue missions between Haiti and Sanford will continue under an executive order by Governor Ron DeSantis. 14 Floridians arrived from Haiti Wednesday at Orlando Sanford International Airport. WMFE's Danielle Pryor reports U.S. Representative Corey Mills flew an additional 23 Floridians out of Haiti over the weekend.
The Florida Division of Emergency Management will continue to evacuate Floridians from Haiti for at least the next few weeks under an executive order by the governor. Director Kevin Guthrie says the helicopter flights, which can ferry about 6 to 8 people at a time, will all use Sanford as their home base, as that's where state agencies are set up to provide assistance.
So we have the ability to help them out with all kind of assistance to include hotels, a cell phone if they had to leave their cell phone behind.
Guthrie says his department has received over 600 requests from Floridians looking for help for themselves or family members who are stuck in Haiti. Danielle Pryor, 90.7 WMFE News.
Florida Republicans overwhelmingly voted for former President Donald Trump as the GOP nominee Tuesday in the state's presidential preference primary. Trump received nearly 81% of the vote statewide. He had already secured his party nomination. Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley was second at 13.9%, followed by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis at 3.6%. Both had already dropped out of the race but remained on the ballot. In Orange County, 8 municipalities held local elections. Winter Park Commissioner Sheila DeCiccio is the city's new mayor, receiving 71% of the vote. Maitland voters supported a $14 million bond to improve the city's library, with nearly 62% of voters in favor of the measure. Apopka, Eatonville, Oakland, Ocoee, Winter Garden, and Edgewood also held elections. According to unofficial results posted Tuesday night from Orange County Supervisors of Election, turnout in the county was 18.6%. These stories and more on our website. Visit WMFE.org. As travelers pack airports this spring break, the Federal Aviation Administration is dealing with an ongoing shortage of air traffic controllers.
So we see delays because we are limited on how many air traffic controllers there are.
WMFE's Talia Blake explores the problems and solutions to the shortage. Listen online at WMFE.org. The number of Floridians serving as caregivers for people with Alzheimer's and other dementias is on the rise, with an increase of 13,000 in just 1 year. WMFE's Joe Burns reports on the toll providing care takes on these caregivers and a new program designed to meet their needs.
For the past 3 years, Bruni Mercado has taken care of her mother, who at 92 is in the advanced stages of Alzheimer's disease. The round-the-clock care at her mother's home in Ocoee has kept Mercado apart from her husband, who is caring for his own mom, who also has dementia. Mercado first experienced the emotional toll of being a caregiver for someone with dementia when she helped her sister with their father, who died in 2021.
It hit me so hard with my dad when I was right there, and he looked at me and he said, "You are family, right?"
At that moment, Mercado says she was already grieving, knowing she had lost her dad. But that experience made it easier to deal with her mom's decline. She is among the estimated 840,000 dementia caregivers in Florida. That's according to an Alzheimer's Association report, which also says the burden of caregiving falls more heavily on Black and Hispanic families. A much higher percentage of those dementia patients are living with their adult children. Mercado, whose family is Puerto Rican, says it's a cultural thing. Early on, Mercado says she was doing it alone, and she prayed for, quote, a double portion of grace.
Because, my mom was very feisty and difficult.
After that, Mercado could face the situation. Still, sometimes it was hard to get out of bed.
It was like days that I daydreamed with being by the beach and just walking around, I needed a break.
29% of Florida dementia caregivers are dealing with depression. Mercado learned to ask friends to stop by and to stay connected with her church family. Things changed dramatically a few months ago after her mother fell and a doctor placed her under hospice care. A nurse visits regularly and bathes her mother. A volunteer gives her a break for 5 hours every week, enough to go on a date with her husband.
So it's something that we cherish.
Stephanie Wardlow with the Alzheimer's Association in Florida, which is a resource for caregivers, says there's a need to reduce the burden on families. Their care has an estimated value of more than $24 billion a year.
We need these family caregivers. However, we also need them to be healthy so that this can continue.
One promising resource in the works is the GUIDE model, an approach that includes the patient and caregiver. The new program through the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services starts in July. Dr. Nicholas Dewar is the point of contact for the University of Florida's GUIDE application. Beyond the clinical visit, he says, wouldn't it be great to have a care navigator on the treatment team to put together a plan, provide education and training, and offer access to resources? And wouldn't it be nice to have a 24/7 call center and to visit the home where the patient lives?
All with the goal of keeping patients with their families as long as possible. I mean, that would be absolutely fantastic. And that's what the GUIDE model is looking to accomplish, essentially.
Dewar says it will fill gaps in Alzheimer's care and take a prospective approach, getting ahead of the game, instead of just reacting to the needs raised by caregivers. Joe Burns, 90.7 WMFE News.
That's it for the wrap this week, but stay listening. Florida is nearing the end of its Medicaid redetermination process, reevaluating who is eligible for the program after a large expansion of benefits during the pandemic. Children have made up a large portion of those who have been disenrolled.
I just feel like the state has failed me because I had to work through my whole son's cancer treatment, and all I wanted was Medicaid so my son could have his treatment, covered, and I wouldn't have to worry about going bankrupt.
A look at the Medicaid gap after Medicaid redetermination. That story next week. This podcast is produced by 90.7 WMFE News with assistance from News Director Latoya Dennis and Digital Director Ryan Ellison. Editorial assistance this week from Joe Mario Pedersen. I'm Brendan Byrne. This is The Wrap.